Komið sæl, ég Svanhildur Svavars og hérna við hliðina á mér Ingibjorg Bjornsdottir og I am Svani Svavars, and here on my next side is Ingibjorg Bjornsdottir, and we're going to talk about a topic that we actually talked a lot about in our book. What was the title? Maybe you give us the title of the book.
The Importance of Autistic Leadership, and the undertitle is From Complexity to Clarity.
And this is a book that we just recently published on Amazon, and we, in the beginning, we were having conversations on Zoom, and then we were writing letters to each other, and we decided to change those letters into a book, and the book is out now. And now we want to talk about the subject that really close to our heart for both of us is the possibility of having a job or getting onto the job market for autistic people, and what can we do to make that happen? So Ingibjorg, what is your opinion of the job market today?
The job market in Iceland is very tough. There is very high speed and great stress on in the workplace, and there is not. It is not common that there are part-time jobs are not common, but I think that like 50% or 25% jobs would be in some cases more suitable for autistic people. And the job market is not really adjusting to autistic people, but he is demanding masking, and the job market is demanding that autistic people adjust and try to behave, act as if they are neurotypical. Yes.
So that is it's difficult for them to stay in a job because the demand of the social demand is something that is overbearing and will often lead to even burnout because there's lack of understanding of their, tolerance in the job sites, isn't it?
Yes, there is a high risk of burnout, and I don't have any statistics, but I'm sure that the risk of burnout is high with autistic people on the job market. And but it is a shame that the gifts of autistic people are not being used more. What I mean, autistic people can often do things like process information, programming. For instance, I once had a job where I was analyzing statistical data and using the software SPSS, and which is statistical software for the social sciences, and I was working on that, and that was a very good job for me. I did very well in that. And but there are many jobs on the market that are demanding high social skills, and thus they are excluding autistic people, even though they may be best qualified or best educated for the job.
Mm-hmm. That's right. But what is your experience on the job market?
Well, my experience is mixed and not very good for the most part. I did well in this social science job, but then I also had a job as for grants in the natural sciences. I was supervising the evaluation of grant applications. And this was a very important job and with a great responsibility. And I didn't know I was autistic. Nobody there knew I was autistic. I didn't even know it myself. But I started reading Icelandic law and regulations, and I started implementing the laws and the regulations as they are written, like to the letter. And that was very unpopular, especially among the professors. And I remember there was one professor that I had to say to the professor, you cannot be here in the evaluating committee. You have to go outside the room because we are going to evaluate an application from someone who is in direct competition with you, and you cannot judge that person. And that professor was very dissatisfied. That professor wanted to judge the application. So I had to do things like that, and that was not popular. But I was, in my opinion, I was not doing anything wrong. I was actually following the law, the letter of the law.
Okay.
But this was not popular, and there were unwritten rules all over the place. And I didn't know, because I was autistic, I didn't know that there were unwritten rules about this. But of course, there were unwritten rules, and I was only an office worker, really. So in the end, I lost that job. I lasted, I lasted 2 years. Then I had to go. And my experience is I can get any job that I want because my curriculum vitae is really excellent, and I have many high achievements and master's degree with distinction and everything. And I can get almost any job I want, but I cannot keep them, keep losing them after a while. So I think that is because of my autism, and today. But there is another solution to the problem of autism and the work market. That is working independently. What I did then, when I had lost this job of grant applications, I started translating.
Mm-hmm.
And I managed to get a freelance agreement with Transperfect Translations in New York, which is the largest private-owned translation company in the US. And because I had that freelance agreement, I had a foundation for my company. So I actually founded a very small company around myself, and I was the translator, and I did all the work, but I was supervising myself. I had an employee for, I think, 6 months. It was not longer. And the company was not big enough to support others than me, but at least it supported me. And I was managed to work as a translator independently for 10 years. So that is actually, I mean, a possibility for autistic people to be entrepreneurs, or to work on creating your own type of cartoons, designing clothes clothes for autistic people. I mean, we want to have a certain texture. We want to wear comfortable clothes. So that would be like an idea for somebody to specialize in designing designer clothes for autistic people, special fabrics and everything like that. It is so much, it depends on autistic people, they do best when they can actually use their interest, their special interest.
Yeah.
When you can work on your special interest.
Yeah. I've seen
And
that
yeah.
happen here in the States when, someone is allowed to use his own interest to start a company. Yeah, that is really what we've seen, and then they become the owner of the company that they kind of build on their interest. Yes, it is possible. So, last question: when do you think we need to start preparing autistic students and people for a job world, for the job market? What is your opinion about that?
12, 13 years old.
Yeah, absolutely. So they can
Uh,
prep them
yeah.
early enough. Yeah. Yeah.
And like if they are interested in programming, then they can go to coursera.org
Yeah,
and they can learn Python programming directly when they're 12, 13 years old. They can just start it. And if they can finish the first course, there are 5 courses at the University of Michigan. It doesn't cost much, and you learn programming, and then you can just get a job around. When you're around 20, you will get a job, and you can function, and you don't need to be so much in social interaction if you're a programmer.
that's right. So yeah, and another thing we have noticed too, in regards to socialization, when autistic people are with autistic people, they don't have any social issues. But when it's the issue that comes
Yeah,
up,
that's why they are leaders. That's why autistic people are different kind of leaders. It's a kind of a theory that I have that I discuss in our book. That is that autistic people can indeed be special leaders, or they can show special skills of leadership especially because they do not follow the social norm.
yeah, yeah. So that would be something that people can read about in the book, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes.
more information is in the book.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. So this was a short commentation or commentar on the book, and until later. Thank you, Ingibjorg. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.